You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Joplin students are given a unique opportunity to learn Spanish in an unconventional way.
Also, rescue teams battle rising waters in their search for a 12-year-old still missing after a tragic train accident.
And the sun, is shining. And I am apparently experiencing technical difficulties. We will take a look at your hot and muggy forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. Just experienced a momentary demonic possession, but it cleared, so we're okay now. We're good. I mean, I don't know what that was, but just after 7 a.m. now on this finally Friday, June the 20th, it is the first day of summer, and it is going to feel like it for sure. We'll talk about that in a moment, but first, something somewhat unique taking place.
Yes, a teacher from Joplin is offering a unique summer class for children from kindergarten to 5th grade.
KOAM's Mitch Adams visited the school to find out more about the class.
I go home and I'm just, super content, super happy that I get to do this every day. It's just a super fun opportunity.
Luke Smith is a teacher at Cecil Floyd Elementary School in Joplin. This summer, he's been given a chance to teach a summer class, a class that combines art, music, and learning Spanish.
There's not normally a Spanish class specifically, but I am certified in art and Spanish, and I wanted to teach summer school, and so I decided to try and figure out a way to integrate those two together.
Smith says he brought his idea of combining the subjects to the district, where they agreed to let him try it out.
Art fundamentally is about communication and expression, and so I think learning a language along with it actually makes a lot of sense because they both are about how we communicate with each other.
This opportunity has given Mr. Smith a chance to teach something he's passionate about.
It is the most fun way to teach anything for me. It's like to make up songs, teach the kids how to sing them, and then sing along with them, and then, eventually they get to where you can just strum the chords and they can sing on their own.
The main goal for Smith is to get young students to try new things.
A lot of the kids, when they started, were like, well, I don't speak Spanish. And it's the same thing with when they come into an art class or they start a new project. Some kids will say, like, I don't do art, I'm not good at art. And as a teacher, my mission is to make kids believe you can learn to do hard things, you can make art, you can learn Spanish, you can succeed in any of these things as long as you're willing to try.
In Joplin, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Well, the class will continue through the rest of the summer with new lessons taught to the kids each week.
Certainly exciting. When I went to Cecil Floyd, our music teacher taught us one song in Spanish. It was Don Gato. Now, granted, there were only like a couple of phrases in Spanish in the song. Most of it was in English, but I still remember it to this day. It was about a cat. Yeah, anyway. Let's take a look outside. I don't see any cats out there. There might be some, but there are no Don Gatos. It was actually about this cat somehow getting on a roof, and if I remember the song correctly, he doesn't survive or something tragic happens to the cat. But it was the thing is the song, it was a good song, okay? And maybe something else happens. But we got clear skies. We're going to move on from that because I tell stories, and I can tell stories for days. Clear skies, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We do have heat advisories. Coffee, Anderson, Linn counties in Kansas, Bates County, Missouri, until 7 o'clock tomorrow. And a reminder, just because you're not under a heat advisory down here does not mean it's not going to be hot today, because it's going to be hot. And it's going to be very windy. We've got southwest winds today, gusting upwards of 25. Future track showing maybe a cloud or two, but honestly, I think any clouds we see, they're barely going to be any. We're looking at plentiful sunshine to add to plentiful heat. Already warming up, though. Take a look at these temperatures. 75 in Joplin, 76 in Pittsburgh, and around the area, of course, a little warmer the further west you go, but we've got some low 70s. Counts for something, but most of us now getting into the mid to upper 70s. It is almost 80 degrees in Chanute at 7 o'clock this morning. That should give you an idea as to how hot it's going to be today. All right, low 80s by 9, upper 80s by noon, low 90s for our high. Southwest winds gusting to 25. Heat index values today easily approaching 100. So be prepared for that. We do have the continuation of the heat and those high heat index values into the weekend. We'll talk about that and next week's possible rain chances here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
Chris, thanks. Well, the search for a body continues following a train and pedestrian crash. One teen is confirmed dead, and authorities are still searching for the body of the second child after the accident Wednesday afternoon in Neosho County, Kansas. It happened at the Trestle Railroad Bridge over the Neosho River south of Erie, Kansas. According to the Kansas Highway Patrol, 16-year-old Arthur Polrees of Walnut, Kansas, and 12-year-old Colin Showalter of Erie, Kansas were running on the bridge when they were hit by a Union Pacific train. Authorities have recovered Arthur's body, but they are still searching for Colin. Several state agencies, along with rescue teams from Chanute, Pittsburgh, and Anderson County, are assisting with the groundwater and air search. The sheriff says the Neosho River is still very high, making conditions hard to deal with, and the water is expected to rise even higher today. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's, of course, available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, some folks in Southwest Missouri will now have a say in road projects that will impact your ride to work in the future. The Ozarks Transportation Organization is developing its roadwork priorities for the next few years, and one of the biggest ones is the widening of Interstate 44. Reagan DiTriolo reports.
We have crashes periodically. It's one of our highest crash areas, and when that happens, we have huge delays in traffic.
Especially here at Stratford, we've responded to a lot of motor vehicle accidents.
Stratford's Assistant Fire Chief Rusty Darnell says widening I-44 in Springfield and Stratford gives his crews more room to move when responding to crashes.
It widens it out for us for our work area. And sometimes our work area is in the ditch, but sometimes it's right there in the middle of the road. And the more pavement we have out there to divert the traffic around us, the better.
Ozarks Transportation Organization's Executive Director Sarah Field says the I-44 project is part of OTO's improvement plan for 2026 through 2029. She says around $175 million is paying for interstate improvements to aid drivers and first responders both.
When we do have a crash, there's no room for emergency responders to work, and so this will allow emergency responders to still have a lane open while working on the side of the road, giving them some space to move.
I know you've seen some of the MoDOT trucks with the crash protection in the back. We don't have that. We're not offered that luxury, so our fire truck is our crash protection.
We just really want to give our emergency responders room to work and allow them to close 2 lanes when needed.
OTO officials will also discuss other road projects in Republic and in Ozark, as well as a variety of trail projects. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, rodeo season is here. We'll hear from one organizer from the Columbus Saddle Club on what you can expect from this year's competition. And later, 2 local brothers have an opportunity to represent the United States in France to play basketball. We'll take a look. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. But first, here's a live look from Riverview Park in Miami, Oklahoma. Well, rodeo season is about to go into full swing this morning. Jason Wells and Jake Hall from the Columbus Saddle Club are with us this morning to share how this weekend's rodeo helps area kids and also provides a fun community event for the folks in Columbus. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
Rodeo season's here. Talk to me about this event happening this weekend.
Absolutely. This is our, I'm not sure exactly how many years, but I know we've been going over 60 years doing this annual rodeo. We put it on every year mainly to help us raise some funds to keep our arena going so we can put on stuff for our area youth and allow our area 4-H and FFA kids to utilize our grounds for free for any of their events as well.
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about this competition. Now, of course, you're having, you know, people from the 4-state area, but also contestants from other states as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about the competition.
Yeah, usually we have contestants from 7 to 8 states or so that travel up here. The association, the ACRA and MRCA are the rodeo associations that are sanctioned with our rodeo, and the ACRA pulls in contestants from all over. So they're there competing to help raise their year-end money to go to the finals, which is in Tulsa, Oklahoma in January. So that's one of the big things that the draw for them. Plus, we have some really good events for the kids as well. We do mutton busting, a little sheep riding at the beginning, and that makes the kids all excited, and parents, and we have junior and pee-wee barrels as well in the middle of the rodeo for our any of the younger generation that wants to give it a shot.
How fun. So talk to me a little bit about the details. Of course, it's tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. When and where can folks come out?
Yep. Tomorrow starts at 7 o'clock in the evening. 909 South Park Drive is the address for the arena. And like I said, gates will open around 5, so 2 hours ahead of time. We have some really good food, definitely some barbecue going on. We do have a contestant tent where the contestants get to eat for free. And other than that, it's just going to be a great event.
Absolutely. Jake, talk to me a little bit about what your favorite part of the event is, especially with all the community members coming out, showing support. Touch a little bit on that for me.
My favorite part of the event is one that the stock contractor we have now brought to us last year, which is called the Wild Horse Race.
Ooh,
and it's a 3-man team. They turn a horse loose out of the buck and shoot, and they got to wrangle it, saddle it, and ride it to the other end of the arena.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
It's definitely wild.
Good time. That sounds like a good time. Lots of fantastic events happening tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with us. Of course, we'll have all those details on the event later on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:16 now on this finally Friday in the 4 states, first day of summer Friday as well. And boy, is it gonna feel like summer. As we head into the afternoon today, we're looking at highs cruising in the low 90s across the area. Future track, we're not doing a lot we don't have a lot to show you. Why? Well, because we're looking at clear skies today, tonight, tomorrow night, and into Sunday as well, before we start to see some pop-up storm chances, which we'll discuss. So hot today, it's going to be hot tomorrow, back in the low 90s again. We're going to have gusty winds between today, tonight, and tomorrow as well, which is going to help bring in some of that Gulf moisture, make things a little muggy, a little uncomfortable, and that's why we have the concerns with the heat, because we're going to really start to feel the effects of that through today and into the upcoming weekend. Our temperatures at low 90s, depending on who you are, most folks, low 90s, it's hot, it's uncomfortable, not that bad, but we're starting to get those heat index values up there. So for today, for example, we're looking at most of us going into the triple digits. Further west, it gets a little hotter, 105 heat index down in Newada. And as we head into our Saturday and even into Sunday, we see a repeat of that whole situation back into the triple digits for those heat index values. So we also have heat advisories. Anderson, Coffee, Lane counties in Kansas, Bates County, Missouri, through 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And as we said earlier, just because you're not under heat advisory doesn't mean it's going to be any better. It's not still going to be hot, because it's still going to be hot. We showed you the temperatures. We showed you those heat index values. We can show you our heat risk as well. For today, most of us into the moderate, some of our northern and western counties starting to get into that major category. As we move down the road into tomorrow, major overspreads a good portion of the area. The heat risk tomorrow, a little bit more significant, and that's just one step off of extreme. And then we go into Sunday, slight, and I mean slight improvement, back down to moderate, but still pockets of a major heat risk out there. By Monday and Tuesday, we get into those pop-up storm chances. Even by Wednesday, we start to see slightly better improvements. Still got some moderate heat risk by Wednesday, but more of us getting into that minor risk, and that's going to be because of those pop-up storms that I've said several times and we'll talk about. All right, so for most of us, we're here. Our heat index values are for sure here, and most of us, heat-related illnesses possibly. You got to stay hydrated, take precautions. But the more susceptible populations, pets, kids, seniors, they are going to be closer to this point where some heat illnesses could be a little more likely for heat exhaustion, possible heat stroke. And of course, if you are susceptible to the heat personally, you got to make sure you're taking precautions today through the weekend. All right, upper 70s by 8 o'clock this morning, mid 80s by 11. We got those clear skies out there now over 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Highs today, again, low 90s, southwest winds gusting to 25. Those heat index values into the triple digits. Still hot through the evening, low 80s by 10, mid 70s overnight tonight, and breezy. South winds still gusting to 30. Still breezy tomorrow. South winds continue to gust. We'll continue with the heat into the weekend and even next week. Upper 80s, some low 90s, but we start to see some clouds here and there, and we're in that time of year for those pop-up storm chances. So just remember, when thunder roars, head indoors and just keep an eye to the sky as we roll into the next work week. That is a check of your forecast. We are back with more right after this. Well, next week, brothers Jamie and Tarek Richardson are heading to France to represent the United States in PhD Hoops 20U Paris World Games Tour.
KOAM sports reporter Ben McLeish tells the story of the two brothers' journey to the world stage.
Nestled in the southeast corner of Kansas, the town of Riverton is home to fewer than 1,000 people. Yet in less than a week, two boys from that very town are heading to Paris.
I was really excited. First, I was a little shocked.
To represent their country, their hometown, on the world stage, playing the game they love, a game they've known since before they could walk.
So they were literally basketball in their hand when they were born.
PhD Hoops selected Jamie and Tarek Richardson to represent the United States in the 20U Paris World Games Tour.
Obviously, just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so had to take it.
And since the news broke 3 months ago, the support for the two brothers has been non-stop, from family, friends, and the entire community.
I am just blown away, proud of them.
To see two of our boys come from, our small school, our small community, and have an opportunity to wear USA on their uniform, that means a lot to everybody here.
But their journey to becoming international athletes has been anything but typical. Their father, Jamie Richardson Sr., was a basketball star in his own right, a 2-year starter at Pittsburgh State who's still the program's all-time blocks leader. But a month before Tarek was born, when Jamie Jr. was just 2, Richardson Sr. was tragically killed.
When he died, I said, basketball's just it's gonna just be in the family.
He never got the chance to attend their games, coach their teams, or shoot hoops with them in the driveway. But he's been with them every step of the way.
For me, my biggest motivator is still something I have in common with my father.
One of my biggest motivators is my dad. I've always looked up to him. Never got the opportunity to meet him, but I want to make him proud.
And they emulate their father on and off the court.
He loved to just make people smile and make people laugh, a positive role model, and that's exactly what the boys have become. They are both a piece of him, and it's cool.
The Richardson brothers have poured their hearts into the game of basketball, driven by a desire to honor their father and to serve as role models for their community. And now it's clear their dedication has paid off.
He's opened up this door for you guys to go be great and go play on an international platform and go represent, go make him proud.
Ben McLeish, KOAM News.
Well, according to PhD Hoops, the brothers were chosen for their team because of their talent, playing ability, character, and desire to be a part of the once-in-a-lifetime experience. And certainly very cool, very unique. That is amazing.
So great
and
to
from
see.
right here, and it just goes to show you can be from anywhere in the 4 states and achieve some pretty great things.
Certainly so. We'll be cheering them on. And coming up, Easttown Dreams in Joplin lines up a dance party for Juneteenth.
And it is hot. It's going to be hotter and muggier as we head into the afternoon for our first day of summer. Details when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Elise Snowy. The SEK Juneteenth Foundation hosted a parade to celebrate Juneteenth yesterday. The purpose of the parade was to celebrate equality and to bring the community together. The parade took place on Main Street in Parsons, which was followed by a speaker talking about Juneteenth history at City Hall.
What it's about, I want everybody to have a great time, to get educated, and to celebrate the goodness of all the things that has gone on in Parsons, because there's a lot of Black history here.
The celebration continued last night with an event in Glenwood Park. Festivities will take place throughout the weekend with plans for baseball tournaments, food trucks, and more. The celebration will conclude on Sunday with a church service also taking place at Glenwood Park. The city of Joplin also got in on the holiday spirit last night. The Easttown Dreams District brought the Joplin community together to celebrate Juneteenth. Last night, the group hosted a dance party in connection with Joplin's third Thursday downtown celebration. The theme for this month, Everyone Belongs.
Just to see the people, to see everybody interacting, everybody going about their time and enjoying this event and, just shaking hands with one another.
Tonight, the Juneteenth party continues at Hope Park with an evening of jazz, refreshments, and socializing. Saturday's events kick off early with the 5K Heritage Run at 8 a.m. and last night's presentation of plaques honoring elders was moved to Saturday as well. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a very hot day lined up for the first day of summer, so I feel it's only appropriate that we get toasty out there. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear, looking fantastic. And MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. Skies also clear, looking pretty good. A reminder, heat advisories, Anderson, Lynn, Coffee counties into Kansas, Bates County, Missouri until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And again, even though most of the area is not under a heat advisory today, does not mean it's not going to be hot. We have gusty southwest winds, future track showing maybe a cloud or two, but otherwise I think we're really looking at more sunshine today than what we had yesterday, and we had quite a bit of sunshine yesterday. We're sitting at 75 in Joplin right now, already up to 76 in Pittsburgh, and look at these temperatures. That southwest wind starting to build in, bringing in the warmer air. 78 in Chanute right now, still some low 70s in our eastern counties, most of us into the mid to upper 70s as we get this Friday underway. We're going to reach low 80s by 9, upper 80s by noon, low 90s. So where our highs are headed. Sunshine is going to be plentiful. Southwest winds gusting to 25 and heat index values easily reaching close to 100 degrees. We're going to deal with the heat through the weekend, and then we have some storm chances next week. Details on all of that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Sky Watch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Sky Watch weather app. Well, it's time to break out the shades with today welcoming in the summer solstice and with it a whole lot of sunshine. Fox News correspondent Shanley Painter takes a closer look at the science behind the Northern Hemisphere's longest day of the year.
News for night owls. Things are about to get a whole lot brighter with the summer solstice taking place Friday in the Northern Hemisphere.
We're going to have earliest sunrise, latest sunset, so the longest number of hours of daylight for the entire year.
According to astronomers, Earth orbits around the sun on a tilt. This causes the amount of sunlight hitting the planet to vary throughout the year. When the Northern Hemisphere is tilted closest to the sun, it results in the summer solstice, with sun rays hitting the region more directly.
The summer solstice marks the point in our calendar in the Northern Hemisphere when the sun appears highest in the sky.
Around the same time, the Southern Hemisphere is tilted the farthest from the sun and experiences the winter solstice.
And again, this is very much tied to the seasons, and the reason we have a winter and a summer is very much a function of the inclination of the sun in our sky.
Meanwhile, our obsession with the summer solstice in particular is one for the history books, with early civilizations closely watching the sun's path for agricultural reasons.
People would use petroglyphs, cave paintings, to mark the date of the solstice. The sun would hit a particular spot in a cave on exactly noon, on exactly the solstice. And the reason people cared so much is that all of our agricultural history is tied into these dates. You would have to plant at a certain time.
But soak up the sun while you have it. Directly after the summer solstice, the amount of daylight starts falling every day until winter. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A group of young adults in Texas take to social media to help rehome rescued animals. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Riverview Park in Miami, Oklahoma. In Consumer Watch, money may not grow on trees, but millionaires are still growing like wild weeds in the U.S. A 2025 Global Wealth Report by multinational investment bank UBS says American wealth grew at a phenomenal rate last year, with more than 379,000 people becoming new millionaires. Now, that's more than 1,000 people a day, adding 7 zeros to their net wealth. The United States accounted for about 40% of millionaires worldwide in 2024. UBS says there are 23.8 million millionaires in America. Private wealth grew by 11% in the Americas thanks to a stable U.S. dollar and brisk gains in the U.S. financial markets. A UBS economist says it's too early to tell if that will slow down this year, but real estate and equities could still finish higher than current levels. Well, a no tax on tips proposal faces opposition from some members in the restaurant industry. The Independent Restaurant Coalition is calling on Congress to vote against President Donald Trump's proposal to ban federal taxes on tips. The coalition, which represents about 100,000 restaurants and bars across the country, says the proposal only helps a small number of workers and does not address larger issues in the industry. Some restaurant workers say many people who get paid the least in the industry, such as kitchen staff, don't get any tips in the first place. And the proposal is part of President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, which is seeking passage through the Senate. And President Trump's deadline for Congress to put the Big Beautiful Bill on his desk is rapidly approaching, but Republican senators are still divided over an increase in spending. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
The One Big Beautiful Bill will drive growth and supercharge the American economy.
President Trump says he wants a sprawling budget and tax bill on his desk by the 4th of July.
If that doesn't pass, you'll get a 68% tax increase. And I would say this, any senator that votes against it, and that includes Democrats, I think they'll be finished in politics.
But Republican senators reviewing the legislation seem far from finished.
There's a number of things that I've proposed. We will save not only billions of dollars and raise revenue for this current One Big Beautiful Bill, but we will save ongoing costs to the taxpayer.
Some worry the bill in its current form will add too much spending.
We need to start bringing spending down, and we need to do it a lot quicker than what the House bill does. And that's really my only beef with the House bill. It's just not doing enough.
But too many changes could create issues when the bill goes back to the House, where it only passed by one vote. Some House Republicans say they have red lines they won't cross, like taking out increases to the state and local tax cap, a priority for members in states like New York. A lot hinges on the bill passing. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy toured an air traffic control tower and stressed the need for more funding for improvements.
The Big Beautiful Bill is the one pathway we have right now that's going to start the funding, start the process, start the building.
Democrats are still united against the bill, but say they will attempt to leave their mark. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just now 7:43 on this finally Friday in the 4 states' first day of summer. And as we've discussed this morning, it is certainly going to feel like summer as we head into the afternoon hours. Already upper 80s, couple of low 90s by noon today. We're all heading into the low 90s for our highs. Some of us, again, a little further west, could even reach close to the mid 90s today. Not much really from the heat overnight. It's going to be breezy today, tonight, and at least through tomorrow as well. Temperatures will heat up once again back into the low 90s for our Saturday, which means another mild evening Saturday night into Sunday. And by Sunday, if you thought it was going to be hot, You are correct, because we'll have another day of the upper 80s and low 90s. The biggest concern we've got, though, with the heat increasing is the heat index values increasing. Take a look by later today. Triple digits, near 105 possible heat index value for Nowata later today. So we're talking the potential for at least some dangerous heat, especially to susceptible populations or those that are at greater risk. We head into our Saturday, and it is a repeat performance of the triple digits returning for our heat index values. We do have heat advisories. Coffee, Anderson, Lynn counties in Kansas, Bates County, Missouri. These run through 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And so we just showed you temperatures and heat index values. While a good portion of the region not under a heat advisory, that does not mean it's not going to be hot down here. All right, we've got a moderate heat risk across most of the area with some major heat risk in parts of southeast Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma. However, as we transition to Saturday, it goes to major heat risk for most of the area. So this is one of those things, you got to stay hydrated, take precautions, find shade, take breaks. It seems kind of crazy because we had, again, most of May was below normal. June so far has been at or even a little below normal at times, so it hasn't been that bad, but it's going to get pretty nasty here. Still a moderate to major heat risk for Sunday, and as we go into Monday, Tuesday, and then into Wednesday, we see some improvements, and that's thanks to at least the possibility of some pop-up storms. So again, most of us right here, because this is where our heat index values are looking to peak, that puts a lot of us into that heat-related illness as possible. But pets, children, the elderly, and some folks that are just susceptible to the heat, we're going to be close enough that heat exhaustion could be a problem. Heat stroke could possibly be a problem for at least some. So again, just make sure you're checking in on them. And again, if you know yourself, you don't do so well in the heat, try and limit your exposure as we go through the upcoming weekend. Clear skies, 7th and rangeline. That's how it's going to stay today. Near 80 by 8 a.m., pushing into the mid-80s by 11. And again, our highs today in the low 90s, southwest winds gusting to 25. Still back down to the low 80s by 10 o'clock tonight, mid 70s overnight, south winds gusting to 30, and clear skies continue, and that continues through Sunday. Still breezy tomorrow, south winds still gusting upwards of 30, and then next week, still pretty toasty, upper 80s, low 90s, and then we start to settle into that pattern for those pop-up storms. So those are the ones, sometimes we'll get 2 of them in our area, sometimes we can get 4 or 5 of them in the area. They usually don't move very much. They go up pretty fast. They die pretty quickly as well, but occasionally they can become low-grade severe. So just remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. That is a check of your forecast. We are back with more after this.
Well, the outcome is not always good when a wild animal is injured or an illegal pet is confiscated.
But thanks to a group of Gen Zers and their unique social media stream, many of these animals have found a new home.
Karen Hall has the story from Austin, Texas.
So this is our marmoset enclosure. Oh, there he is.
At 26, Maya Higa is the Gen Z Jane Goodall. From injured birds to abused animals to confiscated illegal pets, she's rescued hundreds of critters from around the country. At her nonprofit, Alvea Sanctuary outside Austin, Texas, she teaches visitors about these unique animals. But this isn't a public zoo. You can only visit online.
I don't know if we've ever seen before, is the animal sanctuary all virtual and all funded from donors from around the world.
Higa streams live on Twitch, the social media platform most commonly used for video games.
We call it hiding the broccoli here.
Look who it is! Our first guest! Lessons on conservation, education on exploitive trades, hidden inside fun demonstrations.
They can't live in the wild. Their options are either, unfortunately, be euthanized or stay here and teach people.
With 24/7 cameras in every enclosure, Alveus gets about 30 million online visitors a year, likely more than if they were open to the public.
You can watch them eat, you can watch them interact with their enrichment and toys and stuff.
Now, the sanctuary has grown to 11 staff, some who specialize in nutrition, others who edit videos and monitor Twitch. It's what advocacy looks like in the digital age.
Getting young people involved in that is so important, and it's the only way that our natural world stands a chance.
So for now, this is a special sanctuary for friends like Siren here, but they're hoping to double in size in the near future.
Very cool.
Yes, how cool
great
to
way
see.
to provide some advocacy and also provide some assistance to those animals
Absolutely.
in need.
Wonderful.
Well, you are going to want to keep an eye on your pets as temperatures begin to increase across the area. And of course, children, elderly, and if you yourself know you're susceptible to the heat, just watch it over the next few days as we have our first day of summer and temperatures really begin to climb. Mid to upper 80s, even a couple of low 90s by noon. Into the low 90s for our highs today. We'll maintain clear skies through today and tonight and tomorrow night and at least into Sunday before we start to see some pop-up storm chances. So again, not much relief from the heat overnight. Yeah, it cools back, which is good, but it's only cooling back into the mid 70s, back into the upper 80s by noon tomorrow, low 90s once again for our high. And we head into the evening hours and another mild night heading into Sunday morning. We're just starting getting that many breaks. Sunday, more sunshine, more heat again, upper 80s and low 90s. So, of course, we also have the gusty winds. Today, they're out of the southwest. Tonight, tomorrow, they're out of the south. That's bringing in that warm, moist air. And that's where our issues arise as we roll into the first day of summer is with heat index values. You can see where they're expected to be a little later today. Most of us in the triple digits, Nevada possibly up to 105 for that heat index. We're talking toasty conditions. Of course, we improve overnight. Why wouldn't we? Because, sun's gone. But then we go into tomorrow and same situation, back into the triple digits out there. So we also have heat advisories. Lynn Anderson and, oh my goodness, I've been listening to counties all morning in Kansas, and I've already forgotten. Bates, Lynn Anderson, Coffee. I apologize. I've been saying it all morning, just suddenly forgot. Heat advisories, though, through 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, and as we showed you with temperatures, heat index values, even though the bulk of the area not under any kind of heat alert at this point, doesn't mean it's not going to be hot. Our heat risk, moderate for most of us today, with some patchy major heat risk off in our western counties. By Saturday, though, major overspreads the majority of the area. We go into Sunday, still moderate to major heat risk, but here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, thanks to some pop-up storm chances we might see and a little more cloud cover here and there. We will see that heat risk drop a bit, but not significantly. So we're at this point for most people where heat-related illnesses are possible if you're out there too long, you're not staying hydrated. But again, pets, children, the elderly, and some folks who are just susceptible to the heat, getting points of heat exhaustion being likely. So just make sure you're taking precautions, checking in on everyone, and being safe as we head through the weekend. Got another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities have released the names of the 2 boys who were hit by a train Wednesday afternoon in Neosho County, Kansas. 16-year-old Arthur Polrees of Walnut, Kansas, and 12-year-old Colin Showalter of Erie, Kansas, were running on the bridge when they were hit by a Union Pacific train. Authorities have recovered Arthur's body but are still searching for Colin. Multiple state agencies are assisting with the search. The sheriff says the Neosho River is still very high, making conditions hard to deal with. A teacher from Cecil Floyd Elementary in Joplin offers a unique opportunity for students kindergarten through 5th grade. Luke Smith is teaching a class that combines learning Spanish with art and music. Students have an opportunity to let out their artistic expressions while singing along to songs that combine both English and Spanish. The class gives students a chance to learn several topics at once while also having some fun. The purpose of the parade is to celebrate equality and to bring the community together. The parade took place on Main Street in Parsons, which followed by a speaker talking about Juneteenth history at City Hall. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, it is going to be a hot one, so make sure you bring the water with you. Going in the low 90s, heat index values around 100, southwest winds gusting to 25. Clear through the evening and overnight, mid 70s, south winds gusting to 30. Still breezy tomorrow, still hot, low 90s, heat index values 100, maybe 105 in some situations. And then pop-up storm chances next week. So we got a lot to keep an eye on, of course. Make sure you're checking out pets, the elderly, children, as we start to settle into summer officially with the heat and the humidity out there.
Absolutely.
And of course, if you don't do so well in the heat,
right,
make sure you're taking care of yourself
it's
as well.
It's about that time, all right.
It's hard to believe, first day of summer, and boy, it is going to feel like it. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.